All right, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of how to generate an inventory report using this tool, the Alma Reserve Inventory. This we're gonna dive into it, and then as the code's running, I'll kind of talk through what's happening. To start this, you're gonna need 3 API keys for your production environment. You're gonna need a bib read-only key, a course read-only key, and an analytics read-only key. You don't need to know how to write any code for this. It should be fairly straightforward. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this. I run this typically in Google Colab, which is a free runtime environment provided by Google that allows you to execute Python code in your browser. So it's collab.research.google.com. When you open it, it might look a little bit different than this, but what you're going to do is you're going to open, when you can open code, you're going to see these tabs. You can click on GitHub, and you're going to type in mcclib. And then you're going to see that Alma Reserve Inventory is the repository, and then async citation report is the actual code file. We're going to click on that and open it. So you'll be brought to this screen. At the right-hand side, you're going to click Connect. This allows Google to create a runtime environment for you. It's kind of like a virtual machine. And so you can see like it's allocated resources. And then you're going to go to the left-hand side. The first time you run this, you're going to need to create a keys file that holds your API keys. So you're going to click New File, and then you're going to type it. You're going to title it keys.env, and just double-click it. And then you're going to type bib key equals, and then paste your bib key here. And then course key equals, do the same thing, and analytics key equals, do the same thing. Again, these are read-only API keys. Then you Control S, save it, close. Now, if this is the first time you've run this, what I was just doing is downloading this keys file and then saving it somewhere so that the next time you run it, you can just upload it. I'm going to delete this because I already have a keys file, so I'm going to upload it myself. And let me just find it. All right. So then I'm just going to go to, first I want to show you I'm going to show you the developers network. So right now, I ran this once this morning. It made 1,834 API calls. I'm going to run it again right now as we talk, and this number should double. So back in Collab, I'm going to go to runtime and then run all. It's going to give you a warning, know what this code is doing, and then run anyways. And as it executes each code cell, it's going to give a little green checkbox, hopefully, and then scroll and roll down, and it's going to keep doing that. You actually don't need to watch if you don't want to. It's just going to keep making its way down. It'll take about a minute and a half for our system. So the first thing to understand is that the number of API calls this makes is going to depend upon the structure of your course reserves and the size of your course reserves, meaning how many physical items are attached to citations in your system. So what this report is doing, if I go into a reading list, this is in our production environment, I have a citation for Accounting 101. It's college accounting. And if I look at the citation, you can see a number of items here. And if I go to the citation and go to items, you'll see that there are different barcodes, and some of them are in our open reserve shelves, some of them are in closed reserve shelves. What this report is doing is grabbing these barcodes, the physical item information, and tying it to the reading list and course information. So the course information here, this is the course information right here. So you can see like you have your instructors, you have your name, processing department, end date, stuff like that. Our end dates are a little funky right now because we're remodeling, so they're super long, but typically this would be a lot shorter. And then what the code is doing is it's initially pulling from a report that is a shared report in analytics. And that report has these columns: citation ID, course code, course instructor, reading list ID, current course end date, and MMS ID. And then some of these are used to build the URL to make the API call. So citation ID, course ID, and reading list ID are. And then some of them end up in the final report, and those are course code, course instructor, and current course end date. I could add more fields to this, so if you end up needing more fields like reading list information on here, reach out, let me know, and I can modify it. So we're going to go back to the collab because it finished processing, and you can see the green checkbox and it's completed. So we're going to refresh here, and then we're going to download this report. I'm just going to save it somewhere. Open it up, enable editing. And then what I like to do is I like to just click somewhere where that has data and then format as a table. Click OK. And then pull out the title. You'll have to do a little cleanup here to make it look, readable. But you can already see that. So taking our example of the Accounting 101, you can see that the barcodes for the Accounting 101 course is first 6 or 5 rows have been tied to the course information. So they show this is the item specific call number. So you have course code, course instructor, the title of the book, author, the edition, ISBN, the actual barcode. That you can use this column if you filter it down to create sets of physical items, and then run jobs like change, call number information, temp call number information, due back date, stuff like that. It shows a permanent location of the item and then the temporary location of the item. Whether it is in a temporary location, and then the temp call number, temp policy, the item due back date, and the course end date. So you can see that if there's alignment between these two. A lot of this meshes with our course reserves rollover process, but for you, hopefully you'll be able to find some utility in it. Now, if we go back and look at how many API calls this made, it should double. Let me see if it will. Yeah, so 3,668 API calls now. This is something to be mindful of. So if you're in a really large institution, just be mindful of how close to this threshold you get. If you're in a really, really large institution, you might want to make sure that you don't have over 28,000 items on course reserve before you run this report. And you also want to make sure that it doesn't conflict with other programs or processes that use your APIs for Alma and might affect their ability to run. So that is about it. You can close this once you're done. Remember to save a file of the keys file, save a copy of it somewhere safe, because since it has your API keys, and then you can just upload it. And then the only other thing I would mention is that as changes are made, so because this pulls information from a analytics report, it is still subject to the analytics data rollover time. So for us, that's 5 p.m. So every day at 5 p.m. Pacific time, the data from our production environment is pushed to analytics. And so new courses, new reading lists, new citations that are added in the time between you running this report and then that rollover time won't appear if you subsequently run it. So if I went into our production environment and I created a new course, I won't do it right now, but say I created a new course, a new reading list, I added a few citations, and then I ran this report again before that data cutoff, those items wouldn't show up in this report because the course and the precursors to make the API calls to pull those items come from an analytics report. So it doesn't see them. It doesn't make the calls to do that. You'd have to wait till the next day. So just kind of a downside to it, but using analytics greatly reduces the number of API calls we have to make. And so it kind of aligns with Ex Libris policies. Anyways, if you end up, please give this a shot. If you have any questions about it, let me know and I'll be happy to help. Thanks.